Morning, welcome back to Forever United TV. I'm Adam. This is your Manchester United update on the transfer side of things. I think that's probably the best way to start. Obviously, United do play tonight, or late tonight into early Sunday morning in New Jersey against West Ham, starting off their pre-season tour of the States. So one game in, looking forward to seeing Cunha and Mbumo, who will be joining them when we get back from the tour. That is the big question, though. We've got updates on Garnacho's sale and what that means for Manchester United. He is key to selling on. He's key to be sold on for Manchester United to bring in a striker. That reports this morning. Antony is the top topic this morning, though, because his agent has come out and has spoken up about potential moves away from Manchester United and staying at Manchester United, but not cancelling out the Saudi move either, which is very interesting, which could open up doors for Manchester United to make this transfer happen for Antony. We're talking both goalkeepers. Reports from South America saying that United want Emi Martinez, and talks are continuing to sign him. And we've got other reports saying that Senny Lamens and Antwerp now are in full-on conversation with Manchester United over the potential summer move for him as well. So goalkeeping side of things and striker side of things really hotting up off the back of selling, obviously, players at Manchester United. We know that now officially United will not buy a striker until players are sold, and that player is probably going to be Garnacho. The report that you can see going across the bottom of your screen as well right now is of Garnacho hoping to be sold over the next 2 weeks. So let's see if this actually does happen, and that then is going to give Manchester United the funds to go out and buy a striker. There is a shortlist of strikers that's been reported as well today on who Manchester United might actually be going for. We're going to get into that. Plenty to talk about, loads to get through again this morning, but Antony is the top story, I think the most important one, because he is obviously on massive wages at United. We've had this whole tug of war with Real Betis taking the mick out of Manchester United and what they're offering, him wanting to go to Real Betis again and prioritising that move, but now his agent has spoken and made it clear what is actually on the table for him. I think it's just opened up the conversation a bit more. So talking about Antony and what's actually been said, before we get into what his agent said, apparently he has turned a potential move down to Botafogo. So back to Brazil is not on the cards for Antony at the moment. He will not be going back. They have contacted his agent and the player regarding a move back to Brazil. He has turned that down. That's one report that has already come out this morning. But the interesting quotes and interesting conversations that have been going on with his agents with different journalists and reports are the ones where we're starting today. And the biggest one and the most interesting one was this one that I picked out regarding his future at Manchester United. Obviously off the back of what Ruben Amorim said yesterday, which was obviously if these players haven't had their price tags met, or someone hasn't bid the value that Manchester United want for these players, then they could come back and more than likely will come back. In fact, Ruben went as far as to say that is a guarantee. That's a definite. If they are not sold for the right price, they will be back in the Man United squad because they are contracted and are Manchester United players. So Ruben having to take and swallow that pill a little bit in the press conference yesterday, but still, we know deep down underneath what Ruben really wants, and to be honest, what these players want is away from Manchester United. That's been made quite clear. So then we move on to what his agent has actually been talking about and what his agent has said. So his agent has come out and said the player is available and multiple clubs are inquiring about his status. We are open to reviewing offers and projects, including potential moves to Saudi Arabia. Staying with Manchester United is also an option. We're focused on finding the best path for him. Not one mention of Real Betis there, which is good, because that would be the obvious thing that you would expect to come out of his agent's mouth. Obviously, Antony wants to stay. I'm hoping that at this stage now, obviously going into August next week, that Antony has realised that Manchester United, like what Ruben said yesterday, are not just going to accept the price that another club wants to pay, particularly when they're not offering anything. And that is the case for Real Betis and Antony. They don't even want to pay his entire wages like Barcelona did for Marcus Rashford. I think Barca set the standard in how they want to do a loan, and it has to obviously include that option / obligation to sign him at the end, and they're not even willing to do that. But Manchester United, I don't think, are in any position to want to loan Antony at all this summer. I think that's been made very clear now. And the fact that his agents come out and said there, not mentioned once Betis, there probably is in deeper conversation and more to that interview, or whoever it is he's talking to. In fact, let me just check who it actually was, who he was speaking to. It was actually a different journalist altogether. One from Saudi Arabia, and an account from Saudi Arabia by the look of it. But again, let me just see if it's got a. I'm just going to double check this to make sure. Actually, yes, it is. It was done in an interview from a Qatar-based news company and journalist. So yeah, interesting there how people are open to talking to certain journalists from across the world, but not others, i.e. the European media, the British media, things like this. You just don't get these sorts of interviews with agents and important people within transfers. It's just the way that we go about business, maybe. I don't have a clue. But look, this has been said, and it is definitely come out. So when talking about options, when talking about where he could go, open to everything. Another interesting one in there again is the fact that he could go back to Manchester United. He could return to Old Trafford. I don't think he wants to, because I'm pretty certain he would look at the signings that Manchester United have made and go, I'm not really going to get into this side. I didn't get into the side last season. I was bottom of the barrel option. Even if you put Antony, say for instance, right wing back, where you'd think his energy would definitely benefit him. You've got Ahmad there now. You've got Dalot there. You've got multiple players that can play in that position, including Dorgu also as well. He isn't going to play on the left. He never likes to play on the left-hand side. He always is that inverted winger, as we know, and he's I don't want to say one-trick pony. It's a bit of a disrespect because he had a great end to the season last season. But still, like, where does he fit in? Without the signings coming in, he's not going to get in at 10 ever. He's not going to get in at wing-back. So he's open to moving back to United? I don't think so. He wants to be in that Brazil squad. He got a taste again after his form at Real Betis. He was obviously in the mix after the season finished with the summer internationals with Brazil, as we've seen, talking a lot to the likes of Matheus Cunha, who's apparently one of his good mates. I don't know if Cunha being at United would help him come back because of that. I doubt it, because he wants to play football and he wants to be in that World Cup. So there is no chance, I don't think, of Antony coming back to Manchester United. I think his agent has said United simply because he has to cover all angles, and obviously United are an option and are actually paying his wages at the moment. So I think he's just playing it safe there, his agent, with that one. But we are also open to potential moves to Saudi Arabia is the big thing in that there, because yesterday we did hear about two potential sides could possibly come in for Antony from Saudi Arabia. This is, again, this is the golden ticket for Manchester United, because this is a no problem with his wages. And I've said this before, maybe just go and have a conversation with Ancelotti to make sure, explain the situation. I want to be in the World Cup, playing in the Saudi Pro League. Does that still give me a chance of playing in the World Cup? Lots of teams and international setups now aren't too fussed about players being in the Saudi Pro League and playing games there and picking players. Like, you only have to look at the likes of Cancelo and Ronaldo with Portugal, the Serbian players there as well, Milinkovic-Savic. Obviously, you've got Mitrovic as well over there. You got John Duran, who went over there. He wasn't bothered about what that would do. Obviously, he's come back to Turkey now because of the fallout. But everything that's in the Saudi Pro League, I think, doesn't really affect Antony getting into the Brazil squad. Obviously, as long as Ancelotti's okay with that. But again, for Manchester United, this, I feel, is massively important now, because he needs to be playing consistently for him, and he needs to have his wages covered. This has obviously been a big problem, but I can start to see a potential coming about now, and I feel like this is because Manchester United, and I could be wrong here, obviously, but from what Ruben said yesterday about Omar and Jason, in his words, having the price, and I know for certain that they've got a price for these players, and Real Betis, which we know have been in communication with United, to-ing and fro-ing with Antony, and they've been trying to get their deal over the line with loans and offers while still buying players up, absolutely taking the mick out of Manchester United. I think United have just told, I hope they have told Betis where to go, and I've said this loads of times, but I think it's quite clear with the way that Antony's agent is talking that there are multiple options open here. And of course you could look at this and say, well, the agent's going to say that. He wants to keep everything open. But we are, like I said, 2 months into the window next week. 2 months into the window, and Antony is no closer. He's training on his own. He's got no football club, and he wants to be in the World Cup. The first internationals are in September, and most football players are going to be wanting to make their mark. You can clearly see how Marcus Rashford pushed that move to Barcelona just so he could actually be in contention. You need to be featuring in most of the internationals now going through this season. So September, October, November internationals, and you've got March internationals. That's it. You've got 4 opportunities in season. You need to be in a club, in there, settled and ready to go and comfortable, playing as much as you possibly can to get any interest, because Thomas Tuchel right now, in terms of the England side of things, has had his settling in period, very similar to Ancelotti with Brazil and what he's had, just moving in, only a few months into the job. And you need to have been playing with that international setup for as long as possible to be in any contention. So where is he going to play a lot? Yes, he might get a lot of game time at Real Betis. But then again, like we've just said, Real Betis have come up against the brick wall with Manchester United. They're not going to accept another loan offer, I don't think, unless they get absolutely desperate towards the back end of the season. But let's be clear, Manchester United don't prosper at all if Antony goes on loan at the end of this window, because they haven't got time to bring anybody else in. And if anything, Manchester United would then only be able to go out and maybe buy someone in January or loan someone in January. So I think it's in everyone's best interest, Antony's and Manchester United's, to get a deal done as quickly as possible and get it over the line so they can move forward and get ready for the season ahead. And again, it falls onto Manchester United to actually make Antony decide that he isn't going to be coming back to United. He isn't going to be going to Real Betis. He needs to go elsewhere. He needs to find another football club that's going to give him the game time he needs. Otherwise, he's out. This summer is going to be ruined for him. And how many more opportunities is Antony going to have in a World Cup squad for Brazil? With Ancelotti there now as well, this is seen as the big moment for Brazil, so everyone fighting for it. He's going to have to sacrifice something, whether it's where he's playing, whether it's his wages, whatever it may be. Personally, I think a move to Saudi is starting to look more and more optimistic for Antony. And his agent coming out and talking about it is only a good thing for us as Man United fans, because we need that money. And Antony will open up different avenues in the transfer window for us right now if he is gone. So that's what I think is ideal for Manchester United. Whether Antony thinks that, I think we could be seeing him come around to the idea though as well. So let's get into the chat and let's see what you're saying on Antony first of all before we move forward, because this is opening up the other talk that we're going to be getting into this morning as well. So let's get into the chat first of all, into the super chats, and that's come from Ant, who says if Ruben is forced to take them back after making a stand, that's the beginning of the end for him. Hopefully it's all games to push transfers for them. I think it's games, Ant. You're right, that would be a bit of an insult after that big speech at the end of the season. It'd only make it awkward for him. And I think even if Ruben backs this board, even if Ruben backs Ineos in public, I do think behind the scenes, inside, he will feel massively let down by this ownership if he is still having to deal with these players. He really will. And because he's not had any new players come in, he wants these players out, and the club haven't managed to make it happen. They haven't managed to do the job that they said they would do for Ruben Amorim. And then the pressure will really be on that board to not sack Ruben Amorim when the chips are down. And I think everybody will remember this season. And I know the mindsets of people will be different. The United fans will be thinking different. If the football is the same, there is nothing in season that anyone can do other than Ruben Amorim. Sorry, I said that wrong then. In season, all the fans will be looking at Ruben. He's the one that will get the axe. Nobody else. You can't move players on. The ball's not going to go anywhere. The fans can protest and do whatever they want, but there's only going to be one man that suffers, and that's Ruben Amorim. So really, for him, I think it is games. I think these players will be moved on. I think the options are all there and open for these players now, and I think it's becoming a lot clearer with the back of the Malacia talk yesterday to the Saudi Pro League, and Antony now open with his agent saying that he could go to the Saudi Pro League. This is vital for Manchester United moving forward, I think, now. So confidence that it was just words from Ruben Amorim yesterday, but good point to make there, mate, in terms of this will be the ultimate letdown if these players aren't sold on or even loaned out with decent loans and loan fees, at least minimum for Manchester, at least Manchester United can do. Let's get some more in. Rashford isn't even better than Ferran Torres. How is he going to get game time? It's the name. Rashford will get game time at Barcelona. Just Josh says, don't understand the power of it being a World Cup year. Don't underestimate, it being World Cup year. Those that are truly motivated will push for a move. Exactly. And the biggest ones that we've got, I think the good news is for Manchester United is that Malacia is cheap and will be sold. I'm not worried about him. He isn't bothered about his World Cup place, but I think because he's cheap and United don't owe anything on him, I think he will go. The beauty of the World Cup year and it being so massive this particular football season, i.e. next year, 2026, is that you've got Antony and Garnacho supposedly in their prime right now, all wanting to be a part of it. So that is going to be the biggest push. And anybody can come back in the chat and tell me, and anybody can fight this corner and say, well, these players are on crazy money, they will just hold out. And it's like Garnacho and what Laurie Whitwell said last night after the press conference. A lot of people are talking that these players are going to hold off until the end of the transfer window to get a better price for them, or so their value drops and United are forced to sell them to the clubs that the players want to go. I don't think United are going to fall for it. I don't think United have got a problem with these players coming back. I really don't. Yes, we need to sell players on because we need to bring players in. But right now we're looking at a situation, I feel, where United will probably go into detail now into the loan market to try and find out what they can do. Just in preparation for these players trying to play that card. Let's not forget this, and we can call this football structure out and this ownership model out for as much as we want, and we can slag them off and not disrespect them. We can slag them off and criticise them as much as we want, but they are a football structure and they have been around football for a long time. They know that these players are probably going to try and play hardball at some point, and there will be, or there should be, a contingency plan in place. If not, then we can all go in on them big time. I actually think that right now they're looking at what finances they've got. They are giving this a timeline, and then they're probably going to say, right, okay, we cannot get our targets that we want because these players are not moving on. So here is our loan options. Let's look into the loan options. Let's get these sorted, and then we can just say to these players, rot. Do what you want. Don't find a football club. We want this price. Make that happen. It's as simple as that. And I don't even think Manchester United's pricing will be that bad, to be honest. Like, there has been rumours about what Garnacho is worth and what Antony's worth and what the club want, but there is nothing official, and nobody has come out and said officially that Man United want this much for this player and that much for that player. Even The Athletic came out and said the rumours of Garnacho's so-called price have not been put out there or not been reported by Manchester United. That's just from what hearsay and what people think Manchester United actually want for these players. So I look at it and I say I'm still confident that United feel like these players will be gone. I think they will be gone for reasons like we've just explained there. The World Cup year is going to play a massive part with Garnacho and both Antony this summer in finding a football club. So I think we're in a comfortable position. Still, I know it's not ideal for what we want to bring in, and the reports are that Garnacho, and we will talk about this in a minute actually, the Garnacho sale is the one that is going to bring Manchester United the striker. Until he is gone, then the Manchester United are not going to be able to afford this striker, which is what I think is in line with the conversation Ruben was having yesterday. We have Joshua Zirkzee, we have Rasmus Højlund, we have Matheus Cunha. Obviously, we have Chido coming through as well. We have players there that can play striker. We know that. They're just not the best. And I think that Manchester United need to sell Garnacho, and I've said this all along, as you know. Antony does help, though. Antony might help. If he goes to the Saudi Pro League, that means United will actually make profits on the transfer going off the term of his the length of his contract, which he's actually already been through. So 3 years he's seen out on his contract, and I think Antony, if he is sold for in around the £40 million mark, that's profit for Manchester United and a big wage off the books, and that gives us room to go out and negotiate another deal easily. Like I said yesterday, going with Malacia on top of that and getting him off, that is still a lot for Manchester United also. If Antony is sold and Malacia is sold, Manchester United have pretty much, in terms of net spend, paid for one of Mbeumo and Cunha with our outgoings this summer as well, and what we've brought in money-wise. So it goes to show you that we are knuckling down and not just spending money willy-nilly at the moment either. So again, the importance of the Saudi Pro League is huge for Manchester United. If Antony and Malacia both end up going there, United will have the room to go out and buy players. If not, it's all on Garnacho. That's how it's panning out. Jadon Sancho, he's just in the wilderness at the moment. I said it last night. I can't even be bothered talking about the clown. He just looks like he's nowhere near moving to any football club. Not having a pre-season or playing any games. Can you imagine that as a player? Which other football clubs right now have actually told these players, have told any players in their squad that they are not featuring in their tours or their pre-season, go and find a football club, and are just not playing football? It's embarrassing. Would you not be embarrassed as a footballer to not be playing? Surely you are knocking on your agent's door or giving him a ring and saying, look, we need to get this sorted. I need to be playing football. Yes, they're on a lot of money and they can sit on that money. That's fine. But these players are still young. And these players need to find another contract. And that next big contract won't be that big. And so they have to make themselves also look appealing to other football clubs. And that then comes to them. And that's what United have left with these players. They've just said to them, look, go and find the club. This is on you now. Where do you want to play? And then we'll talk. You're not going to play here, though. Even if you are registered here, you are not going to play. So, yeah, it's really embarrassing for the players. I just don't get it. Everybody, by the way, a few people have mentioned the shirts. The 75 to 80 away shirts here. The white one I've got on. Left the link in the description for anyone who wants to have one of them. That's where I got mine from. Thank you to the mods in there. So go check it out. Love this one. Of my favourite ones now, actually. Go check it out there. That is in the live chat and in the description, everybody. Let's see what else we've got in the chat, shall we? It's a shame about Antony. So much promise. There's a player in there somewhere. Yeah, and do you know what? A lot of people picked up on Antony. That final against Chelsea. Great in La Liga. Fantastic at that level. As soon as he came up against a solid back line at Chelsea, he disappeared. And again, there are levels for each player. And I think Antony has found his level in La Liga. I think it's the right fit for him in the way that football is played over there. And that obviously we know that Antony's pushing that, but it's not up to him, I don't think. I think Manchester United stand their ground with this one and we get the best deal for Antony. I think we will. I think we'll get about 35-40 million for him. I think that's my prediction anyway. I just don't see him going back to Betis at this point. There is no way these rejects stays beyond August. It doesn't, like Gear, thanks for the super chat, mate. Again, I think that is the opinion of most people. It just doesn't seem tenable, does it? It just doesn't seem like, after what happened last season with both Rashford, the Rashford situation, Garnacho situation, Ruben isn't bothered. It's ideal for him that he doesn't have to deal with it, and that's why we will be judging Ineos on this and getting these players out. But he doesn't give a shit. These players can rot. For all he cares, he's not going to deal with them. They'll be back in the squad, but they're not going to play. And like I said before, they're definitely not going to play enough to warrant a place in the in their international squads for the World Cup. And that's what's going to play key in all of this. Garnacho is strong-minded and will take Amorim to the limits. Let him try it, Stephen. If he is strong-minded, then he's going to ruin his chances of being in that World Cup squad. And he's just basically ruining his career right now. Because one thing I think has been made very, very clear by Ruben from the get-go is that Garnacho is not wanted by anybody in his coaching staff. And they're the ones that are running the show. If Ineos are going to back Ruben and they're backing him, but they're not really backing him in terms of bringing players in, then they have to back Ruben Amorim with Garnacho. So if he's not sold, they're going to have to let Ruben deal with him however he wants. They can't get involved with that. I think Garnacho knows his time is up. He's playing the long game and he is trying to force a move that he wants. He's running out of football clubs, though. I've said this before. Even players surely must realise now that they are running out of time. And the clubs are buying players. It's like Chelsea. The option for Garnacho at Chelsea is just dwindling away now. They're now going to be... We know that they're in talks for Simmons. We know we're in talks for the Ajax player as well. There's another report going out that they're in for Yildiz from Juventus, a £60 million bid for them. There's no chance that Garnacho's going to end up at Chelsea. And if he does go to Chelsea, are you that unaware that there is so many different players there that you're not going to get consistent game time? Get to Villa and get that deal done. That's key for Manchester United, because that's the report. Like you can see going across the bottom of your screen there, that Garnacho is the key and the one player that will bring Manchester United the striker this summer. I will move on to that striker in a moment. Actually, no, let's get on to the striker now, indeed, because I didn't realise we'd gone to that amount of time already, 25 bleeding minutes in. Thank you, everybody, already who is in the chats. Loads of us in here in the room again. Appreciate it. Love it. Saturday morning fix on everything going on with Manchester United. Please pop a like on the video if you're enjoying the content. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, everyone. Cheers if you already have done. Get your comments in as well. CK says, we need to teach Sancho a lesson. Don't let him go. Put him into the train by himself. Put him into train by himself. He caused this, so teach him a lesson. I wish we had so much more money about us and we were actually in the Champions League so we could just let these players rot. I really do. I'm totally on board with that comment there, CK. I just don't think Manchester United are financially positioned to do it. And these players and agents of these players know that United are struggling right now, and they are just saying, we'll wait it out, we'll wait it, we'll play our game. And it's up to Man United. Do they just say, right, okay, fair enough, we'll trust in what we've got already, and you're just going to rot? We're not being dictated to. Is this the summer that Manchester United have to stand their ground and suffer themselves? Again, can they financially do that? I don't think they can. And that's why I think these players will end up getting somewhat near what they want by the end of the window. But still, there is probably a part of Manchester United that's actually saying right now, have we got enough? Can we survive? And just tell these players that this is what you're going to get. A season of nothing. Unless you find and accept where we want to send you. Like, that's it. I don't know. It's a tough one to call, but common sense prevails, and United will probably force these moves to happen along with the players by the end of the window. I'm sure of it. I look good in that kit, says Raj. Thank you, Buzzing. Thanks for that comment, mate. Check it out in the link, everybody. Plan seems to be improved Rasmus with Cunha and Mbumo. No one is getting replaced except those 10s. That's a disaster. Well, let's just see. There's still time, culture. It's just over a month now. Let's see what else can come in. Onto the striker side of things, like I just said then. Manchester United have a short list of strikers. Juventus are pushing forward with the Kolo Muani deal with PSG. So again, this is why you're not hearing anything about Jadon Sancho. Romano's come out and said that talks are ongoing, and it's still looking quite positive regarding the signing of Muani. Obviously, they took him on loan last season, and they want to obviously make it a permanent deal. So if they're going for that, that cancels out at the moment for me. Rasmus Højlund definitely for leaving Manchester United, and obviously priority isn't going to be Jadon Sancho. They've bought Conceição. They've got their winger, and Jadon Sancho is an extra one on top. Again, this is exactly what I've been talking about. Look at the two prime examples right now with Antony and Sancho. Sancho had an alright season at Chelsea, and Antony had an alright season, decent season, very good season actually, at Real Betis. And it's alright Ruben coming out and answering the question about does the isolation of these players devalue them. He says, I don't think so. Well, on that case, I think Ruben's wrong. I'm just going to say this right now, because the proof is there this summer that he is wrong. Real Betis are holding Manchester United out. Juventus are holding Manchester United out. They're going buying everything else that they want, knowing that United are desperate to get rid of these players, and that them players are going nowhere. Betis actually coming out and saying that they're hoping that Antony will force the issue in making that move happen. Betis have bought players. Juventus have bought players for actual money that you would say are going right into that first team ahead of the likes of Antony and Sancho. Like Sancho, as much as we want to criticise him, was on that score sheet in that final, actually got into double figures in goal contributions last season in the Premier League and in Europe with Chelsea. Antony, with his half of the season, literally catapulted Betis all the way to where they finished in the league, literally on the fringes of getting into the Champions League and winning a trophy as well, and they're still not prioritising him. Why? Because they know United are desperate, and United have isolated these players. They're not featuring. We'll wait it out, and United will buckle. So when Ruben says it doesn't, and United have a price on these players, he's wrong on that. because we can see now, look, Sancho wants to go Juve, they're not bothered. They're going buying everybody else at the moment. And obviously Betis are doing exactly the same. They're buying other players in and making Man United wait on their transfers. And that, I think, now is proof that we have got it wrong. That, I think, will be the undoing of Manchester United in getting what they want for these players. I still think they'll go. I just don't think United will get what they want. And it's then up to them. Like Ruben's come out in public now and said that these players will come back to Manchester United. I think he's forced the agent of Antony to say what he said in terms of going back to United is an option. It's not. It really isn't. We know it isn't. So Ruben's saying what he said yesterday in the press conference. Other clubs are looking at that and going, no, you're not. You're not going to get what you want for these players. I think, like I just said, and used the examples of Antony and Sancho. We're not. We're nowhere near getting what we want for these players, and clubs are taking the piss out of us. They are. It's like that player wants to move there, so that's what the player wants. Yeah, Antony wants to move to Betis. Juventus is where Sancho wants to go, and the players are just sitting it out. They're not bothered. They know that United will buckle. So that's the player stance, and that's what Laurie was talking about. From the club stance, they also know this, and they're just hoping that Manchester United down the line just give in, and then players go cheap. It's an embarrassing situation for United to be in. It really is. Let's get some more comments on this quickly, because I want to talk about I know I don't want to talk about it, but we will. The Nicholas Jackson situation as well. Manchester United striker targets. Watkins, Muane as well is one of them. And Vlahovic is still an option for Manchester United. Again, Juventus holding out, hoping that United and their situation buckles under the pressure, and they go for someone like Vlahovic to help them out, to possibly bring Muane in, or maybe get the Sancho in. Whether or not Juventus sell Yildiz to Chelsea, I don't know. He will fetch good money and potentially give them what they need to take Sancho. We'll see with that one. I'm not too sure whether that's going to develop into anything. But again, Juventus are in the power play. United are just hoping right now. And that's how it seems in this transfer window. There's not enough there for United, I don't think, to move forward with the plans that they want. And they've seen no encouragement from these players to really go out and find another football club. The good news about Antony is the Saudi Pro League links, and maybe United standing firm and not accepting what Betis want. But still, we are going into August next week, and it's going to start getting a bit dicey. Gary says, you bring in a coach that only has one way to play, and we don't have the players to play that system, and don't have the funds to bring in players for the system. We are shocked, and we are effed, basically. Manchester United lost against Tottenham because of leaving Garnacho out of the squad. A complete and utter garbage comment, mate. Absolute nonsense. Why you actually think that Garnacho would have made a difference against Spurs? I honestly, baffled by some of the fan love for certain players, and blaming the club over the actual players. Really. I'll never understand that, but hey, look. Teams will want these players into their squad soon too. Look at how many teams haven't bought any players. Haven't bought and players not sold. It's Europe. It's a Europe-wide issue. Most clubs have players they can't dislodge. I mean, for instance, when you look at Manchester United's situation, just on Daniel's comment there are clubs there that haven't got their business sorted yet, and obviously that's going to be big going into the last month of this transfer window. Villa haven't done any business yet. They need to improve. They're going to be asking questions. Newcastle, they're asking questions, trying to sort out their business as well. Obviously, Forest, there's a lot to go on still, and I think August is going to be a crazy month for everybody. Because like Daniel said there is still loads of business to get sorted and finished. And it's not just Manchester United, so you would hope that someone would come in and go, right, okay, maybe we go in for one of the Man United players. Maybe we go in for a Garnacho, put the bid on the table. Same with Antony, someone comes forward and puts a bid in. We should start seeing a little bit more action with these players going into the back end of this window. Is anybody still completely saying no to Vlahovic, by the way, right now? Because that's the talk about the striker situation. Juventus holding out because they know that United might push and take Vlahovic. Obviously, Nicholas Jackson as well wants Manchester United. That's the report now also. He wants to come to United. We'll push, if any move is going to happen, for Man United. Why? Why is that player pushing for Man United, the player that we don't want? But, again, are United that desperate? Would Chelsea do a swap with Garnacho? I actually think that Garnacho wants to swap. Or he's hoping that Chelsea look at some form of swap. If United swap Garnacho for Jackson, then I think a lot of fans would just give up. I think that's where it is. At the moment, I feel like we're convincing ourselves that players are actually better than what they are, just because we're that desperate to get through this transfer window and make some signings. I honestly don't. I don't like the Jackson move at all. I really don't. I don't want to say that he isn't a good player. I know he's got something. But for us right now, I'd rather just keep Rasmus Højlund in and not waste any more money. But then again, I'm stuck because I'm arguing with myself. Like, we do need to move Garnacho on. We need to move these players out of the way for Ruben Amorim. It's a tough position to be in for Manchester United. And Ruben Amorim is stuck right in the middle of it. I am not for Jackson, no. Couple more super chats in. Stuart says, what happened to Xerxes? How is he injured? He's just recovering from that last injury, and they are making sure that it doesn't recur again. Obviously, he came back and was hoping to play. Then he got a little bit of a setback. So, no, Xerxes, they're just being extra precautious with, taking extra precautions with. So it's nothing to worry about. He will be fit for the season from what's been said anyway. Glazers treated these guys as assets to borrow money against. Book assets don't lose value, but players do. That's why we are screwed now, unfortunately, says Ant with a super chat. Cheers for that, Ant, buddy. Yeah, I mean, you could say... Well, actually, it is all down to the Glazers, isn't it? It's not there's no ifs or buts about it. It is all down to the Glazers and the people that they employed to run the football club, and the money and the club's money that's been wasted is it's shameful. It really is, isn't it? But Jackson, again, just going back to that because we want to move on to the goalkeeper situation. Jackson, Vlahovic, these are the names that are flying around right now. Would you rather just keep what we've got? There's like people there, Vlahovic isn't good enough. Vlahovic before Jackson all day. These are so many different comments regarding the strikers and different opinions on them. Garnacho would have changed the Europe final. You're just hating, man. No, he wouldn't have changed the European Cup finals. Like, I don't get it. He came on and didn't do anything. Honestly, people, what did Garnacho do last season to convince you that he was better than anybody else at Manchester United? I don't get it. Like, this is a player that just refused to celebrate scoring a goal in a game. This is the player that Ruben Amorim picked out as a bad attitude straight away. He deserves everything he's got. Completely behind Ruben Amorim with the decisions on these players. Vlahovic was good. Idea Mawani also good. Osimhen was the one, says Col. Yeah, the Osimhen was never going to happen. Looking forward to the West Ham game tonight, says Babs. Yep, we will be doing a... we're going to be doing a big up sort of tomorrow. We're going to be doing a big up show off the back of the game, actually. So anyone who's watched it or rewatched it, we're going to be doing a review of that show on Big Up, a breakdown of everything that happened in the game. So be tuned for that. I'll fill you with all the information on that later on as well. People still backing Garnacho for that fine. Honestly, we've got some Garnacho fans in the house tonight, it would seem. Actually backing him. Look, you can back him all you want. At the end of the day, he isn't worth what people are saying. I just don't think he's worth fighting for. His attitude stinks, and that above everything else for me outweighs what quality he has got. If you've got the bad and wrong attitude, then you're never going to make it, and that should be a given at Manchester United. It shouldn't even be a conversation. He should have played because he's got this quality and that. No. The fact that he has disrespected the football club and disrespected the manager straight away means that he shouldn't be in that team or anywhere near. No, I'm not bothered at all. He obviously he made his bed and now he's got to lay in it. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for him. Let's see. Right, yeah. Garnacho's brother's in the chat. Xerxes is much better than Sesko and Vlahovic. Ooh, that is a bit of a push, that one, mate. I think that is a shout and a half, that one, Insane Gamer. I wouldn't go that far. Not with Xerxes anyway. Xerxes is a great bench player and someone we can utilise this season, definitely. 100% is someone that Manchester United can get a lot out of, but I think it's probably going to be from the bench. I can tell just by the chat right now, it's like the unknown of the striker situation. And not knowing exactly where we're going, no realistic targets, it all being open and hush-hush at the moment. I just think that we're just all waiting for something to happen now. Nobody has any idea where it's going to go. Like Eddie Howe was talking in his press conference this morning about Alexander Isak. So obviously I don't know of that. I don't think it's going to hold up their bid for Benjamin Sesko. But Sesko is not on the cards for United until Garnacho is sold. That's been made very, very clear now that United are not going to be able to move for a striker until Garnacho is sold. He is the one. We've triggered a right old Garnacho conversation in there in the chat right now. Want to move on to the goalkeeping situation and two differing reports on the goalkeeper. So the first one came out and I seen this and I'm like, what? Here we go again. Let's just wait for someone to completely kibosh this Emi Martinez story again now. But Manchester United have entered formal negotiations to sign Emiliano Martinez. Aston Villa have turned down the initial loan offer. Martinez is Ruben Amorim's top target. And that's come from another South American, German Garcia Grover. Journalist over there for TYC Sports in Argentina. Not convinced by that at all, to be honest, after what happened last time with all of the strong rumours from South America that Martinez was Manchester United's top target. It turned out to be that United are still just looking at Martinez, and it was all driven by his entourage and his agents and that side of things. So again, I don't believe that is genuine. And we know where we're at with Emi Martinez right now, and we all know that we want a goalkeeper, and we probably are going to buy one. But then we've got a separate report, which has been doing the rounds as well, which is on Sene Lammens. So the deal with Sene Lammens and what's been reported on him, obviously we know from what Romano has said that is significant, and most of these stories are being made from what Romano has said already. But Manchester United are in direct talks with Royal Antwerp for the goalkeeper Sene Lammens. Lammens, 21, is keen on the move and sees the Premier League and United as a dream destination. The expected fee between 13 and 17 million. Personal terms won't be an issue, as you'd expect. Official talks with players camp soon to be scheduled. Didu Martinez remains on the list, but would be significantly more expensive option. Martinez, how does Martinez come into Manchester United compared to Lammens? I think Lammens makes more sense to Manchester United because he is cheaper and he can work alongside Andre Onana. Having two goalkeepers on massive wages at Manchester United is something that the club, I don't think, are really interested in pursuing right now. I don't think that United want to have Onana 100 plus wages, Martinez close to 200 grand a week wages. 300 grand's worth of wages in goalkeepers is ridiculous for Manchester United, and I think even I would say that's jokes. That cannot happen. But then again, Sene Lammens, like we said there, cheap wages, a goalkeeper that could be in at the club for a long time. Look, like Romano said, United have scouted Lammens forever and a day. They've been looking at him for a very, very long time, and I think that United now are in a position where they know that. I'm not saying that no one's going to come in for Andre Onana. Like if United got a bid from Saudi Pro League, I'm sure that they would just say, look, okay, on your way, we're letting you go. We've had this offer and we're accepting it, so we want you to go. United would force Andre Onana out of the door. I think that can happen, but I don't see it happening, to be honest. I don't think anyone's going to bid for Andre Onana. So Sene Lammens just makes more sense. I just don't see Martinez happening. I really don't. Unless something happens with Garnacho and Aston Villa. I've said this so many times. I don't see how Manchester United can make the Onana problem disappear. and Martinez on top of Onana, I think that's the unthinkable for Man United. And I think everyone looking in on it would go, that does seem a bit ridiculous. What's the point in bringing in another number one goalkeeper to fight alongside? Even I've said this before, that United would be open to this idea, going off what reports were said. But I've come around to the thinking now that this would just be ridiculous for Manchester United. We cannot have both Andre Onana and Emi Martinez in our side on the wages, in our squad, even on the wages that they are going to be demanding. It would be stupid for United to go down that road. But look, never say never, and never say never in terms of someone coming in at the last minute for Andre Onana. But again, 2 months into the window, nothing. Nobody wants Man United's players. And that is the problem we've got. So Sonny Lamons on this side of things makes complete sense because he's cheap. We have got the money to buy him right now and we can go out and just get him. I think it will be a decision made on who we buy first. I think someone's asked the question before in the chat actually, and it's been brought up a few times. Why don't we just go out and buy the goalkeeper right now and get that done? If we're struggling with a striker, just at least go out and get the goalkeeper in. I could see that happening, but I think United would have to use the timeline that they're giving for the striker in terms of taking any money away from what we might use in a striker transfer to buy a goalkeeper. Yes, we can get Lamons done, and it's done. Paid for. Out of the way. Goalkeeper situation sorted. Half sorted. And that money could have been used for a striker, though. So if United say, right, okay, we're looking into the loan situation for the striker now. We just want another body in. We're going to have to go with what we've got. Let's just get the goalkeeper done. And then maybe in January a better loan offer comes around for a striker again, something like that. Or maybe an opportunity to buy a striker in January comes around. The progress of Chido, we don't know. Will Rasmus be a better player with Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo either side of him? All of these unknown questions for Manchester United right now. It's a problem. But Lamons is a good goalkeeper. And you know what? Sometimes just get a deal done that you know you can get done that is actually there. Otherwise, you're going to regret it. Someone else will come in and take him away. I can see Lamons actually happening this window now. I don't think we're going to go for Martinez. I think that will be put to bed very soon as Lamons is signed. And then we've got a young goalkeeper for the future. Penalty saver extraordinaire as well. Great goalkeeper. And all the reports on him are absolutely brilliant. Big enough, 6'4" goalkeeper. He's got stature about him, confidence. And if United, like we said, have continued to scout him for the last 2 years, then this should be a no-brainer, shouldn't it? It should. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on Lamons. Should we just go for Sonny Lamons now and just forget about the other positions for the time being? Let's see what happens if we sell players. But we have got money to get Lamons in. So should we just go and get it done now and get the keeper in and put the goalkeeping situation to bed? And then that's one less thing to even think about then going into this last month of the window. You've got a midfielder and a striker, and let's see what happens with them. But getting a keeper in, I think, would, for a lot of this fan base, say, right, okay, at least we're actually thinking there. At least we're actually going down the road of Onana isn't good enough, and eventually we will be moving him out for this younger goalkeeper. That, I think, would give the fan base a little bit more confidence. And let's see if Ruben does start to bring him in through the season, and then actually we can see the end of Andre Onana by the time the season finishes. The writing should be on the wall for Onana then if he's not number one. It's like, I'm not going to play. And let's not forget, we need somebody in because Onana's going to be off to AFCON with the likes of Mazraoui, with Onana and Mbeumo for 6 or 7 games, I think it is, around the December-January time. So we need some form of goalkeeper in. I'm not really looking forward to depending on Altay Bayındır for 6 big games. I think one of the games is Liverpool. There is a big game in there that the African players are going to miss. So Onana, Mazraoui and Mbeumo all missing for them games. That could be significant in Man United's season. So we need a goalkeeper in, definitely, because Onana's going to be missing for a month of the season. I can't believe I'm even saying that. But you know what I mean. Someone's going to have to step in. And I just don't like the fact that it's going to be Bayındır. Honestly, that's just where I'm at right now. So get the goalkeeping one done. Would you go and get the keeper done? Let's get into the comments section on this now. Bayındır is worse than Onana, says Cal. Let's see what else we've got in here. Can't just trust Onana and Bayındır next season. Rather Heaton plays. Heaton's better than both Onana and Bayern Deer. I'm telling you that now. Don't expect much from tonight's game. It's going to be a 40-degree pressure cooker. No intensity. Players have only been able to do 15 mins in that heat and humidity. So our energy style may slow down. I'll just see. It's going to be plenty of substitutions as well. This is the problem that you get with pre-season and some of these games in these ridiculous climates and everything. It is hard work, isn't it? Xerxes had begun adapting to the Prem before his injury. Hopefully he can continue to improve this season. He'll play a part. He will, Oculus. Jack Jones says, let's get Lammen sorted now and its extra player in. At least it's one less thing to worry about, and then try and sell players, then get a striker. Yeah, like we do have an actual target in place right now in goalkeeper, in Serie Lamens, that we can get done. I think that's what we need to be concentrating on, I think, out of everything anyway. Look, that is our show all done. We will be back later on this evening, looking ahead to the game and bringing you all of the other news as well. If anything else does break throughout the day, I will be with you, of course, giving you all of that news. Thank you so much for all the comments and the super chats and mods. Fantastic job. Check out the links in the description and the live chat. If you want to grab a shirt like this one for cheap, 75 to 80 retro, get on it. The link is there in the live chat right now on OK Jerseys, everybody. 15 quid. Get it done. Also, please pop a like on the video. That should take us over that 500 mark again, everyone. Thank you for all your efforts. Absolutely immense job as always. Please hit that subscribe button as well. We're on the march. We're less than 300 away from the 93,000 mark now. So pushing ever closer towards the magical 100k mark. Thank you, everybody, already. We have lots planned ahead. We will keep you up to date, as always, though, with any news that is coming first and foremost. Until then, have a great Saturday, everybody. Match day is here. Saturday with a match day. God, season's getting close, innit? Cheers, everyone. Mods, everyone in the chats. Love that, and I will see you all later on. Have a great day.